Councilperson. Councilperson Krueger.
Present.
Council President Wolf.
Here.
And Councilperson Koss is excused.
Just real quick, speaking of roll call, I do want to apologize. I didn't get everyone who was here earlier for missing our work session on Saturday, just with the start of the school year. Slipped my mind and totally missed it. No good excuse other than that.
Hey, honesty is the best policy.
Yep.
All right, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now to meeting minutes. We have July 28th council meeting minutes.
Move to approve?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, let's go to August 6th work session minutes.
Move to approve?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
And I abstained since I wasn't here for him.
Okay. All right, next I'm going to recommend a new member to actually, let's start with this. We have a new member coming on to planning and zoning, as well as changing a non-voting member to a voting member on planning and zoning. So the first, let's start with Terry O'Connor, is currently a non-voting member, and I would like to, I'm gonna use the word promote her to a voting member, and that's after our discussion with planning and zoning.
So, do you wanna make a motion?
Do you want me to make the motion?
Or just appoint, say, you know, I am appointing this person, and I believe we vote on that appointment.
Okay. Let's start this. So we have it.
Yeah.
Do we have the other one going?
The other one is going. It
Sorry,
missed
I
the
failed.
first few names of roll call, but it got
Okay.
most of it.
I'd like to make a motion to
Appoint.
appoint Terry O'Connor to a voting position on planning and zoning, effective at the next meeting, which would be September 3rd.
There's a planning and zoning August 17th, I believe.
I think that was canceled.
Ah,
September 7th.
September
7th is the first Wednesday.
is
I mean,
September
you
7th.
just name it effective.
There we go,
immediately.
effective immediately, there we go.
Right.
That way it's wrong.
Second,
All those in favor?
aye.
aye.
Anybody opposed? Next, we're gonna move to recommend I would like to move to recommend appoint Tommy Sassby as a new member to planning and zoning, as a non-voting member.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay,
And as a side note, I really like that we have that bench of non-voting members sitting there, so when someone decides that they're done, we have people to pull up that have some knowledge about it and know the procedures.
exactly. Yeah, and it's been going really well. So, okay, let's go to village official reports. Let's start with police, Chief Matt Dell.
I have nothing to add to the report I submitted, but if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those now.
Does anybody have any questions for Chief at this
Nope.
time? Okay. Put it on old business, new business if you think of it. The fiscal team actually did not have a report, or didn't really have anything to report at this time. So I just advised them that, you know, this was probably gonna be a long meeting since we have Mike and everybody here. I did talk to him about the next finance meeting. He said mid-October would actually work great for the next one to go over budget and all of that. If you wanted to put together some dates and email it to him, unless you have something pressing, email him sooner dates.
I think mid-October's a little late,
That's up to you.
so I'll email him.
Yes, so email him for, upcoming dates and times that you would like to put together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cause if we're working on budget mid-October, we've gotta start readings in November.
the first reading is planned to be the 1st of November, the second meeting, and then the third is the December meeting.
Yeah,
So yes.
but that doesn't give us very much time to
Go back and forth, perfect. So yeah, just email him a couple dates and times, and honestly, he said he was pretty flexible, dates of the week and times, so.
Sounds good.
And now we have a special guest here, Mr. Mike Flickinger, our engineer. Do you have anything you actually want to report about, or do you just kind of want to hang out? I know you sent me today the flow line information, that I want to go over with the streets committee. I also know we have the Jordan Road, meeting scheduled for next week, if you wanna just give a little update on both of those two things, and then if you wanna, anything on the lakes, or if you wanna wait till if they have questions for that, however you wanna.
Okay, yeah, I just have a hopefully brief report. Just on task order number 14, which is the Westerville City School District, the work that we're doing, we provided some miscellaneous inspection services throughout the month, and then with the village planning director, we're coordinating with the design professional and the school district on some drainage concerns over there, and we actually have a meeting tomorrow morning to continue that conversation. Task order number 18, which is the 2021 storm sewer improvements project, or the East Shore Court project. We did prepare the punch list for the contractor to address. There's been a bit of a delay because one of the items they need to address is a precast storm structure top that their delivery guy drove over and cracked. There's been a delay in fabricating it, but they're now scheduled to be able to pick it up next Tuesday, and they anticipate being back on site next Wednesday, which is the 17th. I asked them if they could free someone up from a local project to maybe at a minimum before then, if they could just come get that pile of trash, which I think that's probably what's driving some of the comments that you have received. It just looks, I mean, I agree, it looks a little unsightly. We were trying to help them out and not make them make multiple trips here, but this delay is going on a little longer than we all expected. So after they do the work next Wednesday, we'll inspect it, we'll finalize everything, we'll prepare a final change order to reconcile the quantities, and then finalize the agreement amount.
Real quick, Mike, this might seem obvious, but I just wanna hear it out loud. They ran over and broke it, it's not on us, it's on them to eat that waste.
Correct.
I would be very, very angry if it wasn't that way, so.
They were,
let's
and they
check.
were very upfront about it. Like, as soon as they drove over it, I had an email message. I had an email message before I even knew it happened.
Gotcha.
Them saying, "We did this, our bad. We'll make it right."
Awesome, thank you.
Yep. Task order number 19, which is just our general engineering services. I did want to give everybody an update that I met with Infotech on July 15th for a demonstration of their Bid Express software, which is electronic bidding and solicitation software. Had a follow-up meeting with the mayor and legal counsel to summarize the demonstration and talk about how it can apply to the village. And I think both legal counsel and I highly recommend this software for the village's use going forward. It's a very user-friendly software. Almost every municipality in central Ohio is using it now in some form. And one of the benefits to it is that it doesn't have to just be for construction, it can be for any type of solicitation. So if you have to solicit for a new cruiser or a new PPE or stuff like that, you can actually do it through that system. So it's not just for construction. A lot of municipalities use it for just general purchasing. So I'm in the process of the onboarding, as they like to call it, getting set up. They've already set up some dummy templates for the village that I'm going to review, and there's a pretty good possibility that, for an upcoming project, maybe by the end of this calendar year, the first one in 2023, we'd be able to use this software. Then the last one I had on my report is task order number 20, which is the 2022 storm sewer improvements project. Probably should rename it the 2023 storm sewer improvements project at this point, but this is the project that's in the Jordan Road area. So Randall Berkeley of our office and we met with Councilperson Koss on July 19th. We walked the project site it was a couple hours actually. We walked the project site, discussed the alternatives, came to some conclusions about the direction that we recommend the village go. Based on that information, we started preparing some alignments, some potential alignments in the backyards of the Jordan Road properties. We have the alignments developed to a point that we actually have a public meeting, or I don't know if that's a technical term. We have a meeting with residents scheduled for next Wednesday. I think it is at 6 o'clock to just give an overview of the project and the proposed alignments, so that residents can see how each alignment could potentially affect their property. And we've been working with the mayor and councilperson Cost and legal counsel so that he's aware of the easements that we'll probably need, the fact that we may have to have individual conversations with property owners because each property will have some unique features of maybe tying into their property or eliminating trees and things like that. So we want to have a general meeting next week just to give everybody an update and then work with each property owner specifically going forward so that any betterments or improvements or coordination can be incorporated into the bid documents. So I think there were some, the East Shore Court project went on long enough that there were a number of parties who changed throughout the design. I think there's one property owner that, the property owner that's there is the third property owner through the duration of the project.
Yeah.
So I think it's fair to say there were just some miscommunications with the residents and at least reminding people what we had discussed previously or updating them on what we might have changed. So we're trying to be a lot more proactive on this one, use that one sort of as a lesson learned and be more, I guess proactive is the right word with these residents. The last item then is task order number 22, which is the 2022 CCTV program. As you recall, we received bids from Flowline in April, but the prices were higher than what we originally recommended be budgeted. We've had a lot of back and forth with them, trying to identify why their prices are where they are. I mean, a lot of it is just what everybody is seeing throughout the construction industry. I mean, one of the unfortunate things is pretty much their equipment runs off diesel trucks that are running the entire time they're there. So, as soon as diesel prices started increasing, then, their prices had to go accordingly. I delivered via email a recommendation memo to the mayor earlier today with my recommendations for what we should do with those projects. So, I guess that's it. If anybody has any questions regarding the lake planning proposal, I can either address them now if you have questions, or if it's better to handle it during the discussion, during the legislation phase. That's whatever works best for you guys.
Does anybody want to ask any questions about that? Does anybody have any questions about the lake? Does anybody want to ask Lake?
Well, at this point, we're just at the,
Reports.
well, I know, I was just gonna say what's the cost? 75, is that it, the 75 study?
Yes.
Gotcha, and all there is to say about that is we need to study and figure out what needs to be done before we can do anything.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have any questions then.
Hey, you mentioned task 14, the drainage concerns. Is that with the elementary school that just opened? Is that what you're talking
Yes.
about?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna take 10 seconds to piggyback off of his. I don't know if you said this, and you might have said it, and I apologize if you didn't, Erica, if you did. Bid Express is actually free to the village. I don't know if you mentioned that. It's actually the bidders that pay, when they submit a bid. So just as an FYI, that was one of the big things that, I don't know that won't change, or there couldn't be something assessed to it, but ultimately that's the main thing as far as that goes. The East Shore Court, we've obviously had quite a few rains since we've done this project. I've had several residents in that particular area reach out to me thanking us for getting this done, so I would like to thank everybody here for doing that, as well as, even past council. It seems to have actually done what it was supposed to do. So just so you guys are aware of that, the grass is growing pretty well. There were some bare spots, but we'll work on getting some of those filled in as well. And then this is in regards to the August 17th at 6 p.m. We just are requesting that if anybody wants to come to that meeting, it's great. It is being, it's on Facebook. But we would like to make sure that the residents that are in that particular area are first and foremost the ones that are allowed access to the building that particular day, because obviously there's limited. I don't anticipate there being that many people. But whether or not we have to turn that into a meeting, at this point, we weren't necessarily going to have an actual public meeting for it as council. But we may need to do that only because, and now I don't wanna go too far into this, maybe we'll do this during old business. We have several things in streets that I can't do anything until we meet, and one is gonna be the leaf bid, which is coming up that we'll discuss. So, we might turn that into an earlier or a later meeting, we'll get into that in a little bit. And we have reached out to Ben also for the lake, all of the information for the lake bid. So Ben is our grant writer that we've used several times, so we will be working with him as well. And that's all I have for that, just to kind of, again, piggyback off of his thing.
With, since you brought it up, Bid Express, so the expenses on the bidder, do we know how much that is? And are we sure that's not an impediment? We've had a hard enough time getting people to bid on things, so I'd hate for that to
Yeah,
be.
the easy answer is, it's typically not any more than an overnight. So
Okay.
when people have to overnight a bid or drive it in at $4 a gallon, it's probably better. Yes, he already did go through that, and that was one of the sales tips that they gave him. You know, and we've actually already talked about what if somebody really does just wanna hand deliver it, is that gonna be an option, is it not gonna be an option? The whole point of doing this Bid Express is to have something not happen like we've had in the
Right.
past.
No.
So it
No
still
late-
may
no
be
late
worth
mail
it.
deliveries,
Yeah,
no-
so,
yeah.
so there's that, I mean, we're still working through some of the logistics of it, but,
Okay.
everything that we heard was, it will solve our problems in this day and age. I think everybody would prefer it to be electronic, and making people drive it in or go to the post office and overnight it is probably more, more work on them than it would be just to submit it online.
Save paper.
Yes, so,
Cool, cool, cool.
again, that's all stuff that we'll talk about later, once we get to that point. Okay, does anybody have any other questions for Mike about anything or everything? Okay, if you think of something, old business, new business, there you go. Jesse is also not here, I knew Jesse was not gonna be able to attend tonight, he will be at the next meeting. Eric Fisher, Village Planning.
Thank you, Mayor, and Council. Sent you all an email a little earlier, that's for your digestion for the coming week, dealing with some discussion on alternates as prepared by the architect, to kind of explain those. Alternates are added to the bid, and they are separate of the base bid, and they're there to either take away or add to the overall cost. There's some question as to how many of those you can accept beyond the base bid of 10%, and the attorney will have, the construction attorney will be make a ruling on that to send around by next week. What we have to do is, if you are going to accept any alternates, we have to make sure that those are specified and in the third reading by that point. So that's why next week will be a good point, which you have time to review and have a nice full discussion at the meeting on next Thursday. And then background on the contractor who submitted Weaver. They have a nice website which kind of, you can go there and see all the references they have, and then all the individual projects are laid out nicely, and you can see everything they've done.
Okay, so, okay, I don't see pricing on here for the alternates for them to consider as well.
The pricing is actually already attached as part of the bid, and is the appendix to the exhibit to the ordinance itself, so it's already in the,
You guys have it in the packet? Cause you guys, yes, you do.
This one.
It's that one sheet,
Yep.
okay, perfect.
Yeah, it should already be on that sheet,
Yeah, that was the
and that's all
third.
lined up. That's just a description to help everyone out.
Perfect.
Know what each one is. And
Perfect.
And again, we'll talk about it next week in more detail, but those were added in because there are good things to have in general, from anything from the sign, which, is aware, as well as some of the other items out there, but things can be done later. Some things can't be done later, such as the glycol system. That's a thing you gotta do when the concrete goes down. So, but just review those, and we'll talk about them in depth next week, what everybody wants to do. That's all I have. I'll take any questions.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
It doesn't look like those numbers are in the, what was
Yeah.
emailed
They
out?
are, it's in
It's
it's a
this.
landscape, it looks
Yep.
like this.
Keep going, this.
There it is.
Yeah, so are they each individually? Okay.
Yeah, so you see the
That's
first
what I
column
thought.
is
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
base
I got it
bid.
now. I got it now.
And then, hey, do you want these extras?
And
And the
one is
only
a
one I know I
deduct.
want is the
one's a
metal
deduct.
roof that saves us 55 grand.
Well, metal roof is a deduct, that means you're
Right.
getting asphalt.
Yeah, yeah, that's,
Yeah, yeah.
But the,
But the-
we'll discuss it
it's-
next week.
Oh, okay.
But it's an
Okay.
asphalt roof as opposed to the metal
You'll have to
roof.
replace that.
You'll have to
Yeah,
replace it,
one
yeah, never
replaces
mind.
in 10 years and the other one.
See, I thought it was
lasts
going the
like
other
6
way,
years.
we were replacing shingles with a metal roof and saving money, and I'm like,
No,
well,
no,
that
no,
seems
no,
like an easy alternate.
No, other way
Yeah,
around.
other way around, okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Poopy head,
But we'll have all discussions next week.
yeah.
there'll be lots of discussions next week, because at this time, we don't know, I'm just gonna say this, we don't know what options we would even be able to add as far as, that's what he's trying to get a ruling from.
Yeah, is how much can we,
So there's-
adding might put us too much over the base bid, and,
If that's,
yeah.
you know, the attorney will speak to that.
Yeah.
So we'll be.
makes sense.
So, yeah, so start looking at them, see what you like, see what you don't like, and then we will, again, some may not be an option, and they all might be an option.
Correct.
What we could potentially do, and then we'll move on from this, and this is gonna be up to you guys, and again, you guys know I do too much of this. If you have interest in staying, after the August 18th meeting, you know, ending that particular meeting, and I don't wanna call it a work session, but going in and going over these, or just doing it during the meeting, that's gonna be up to you guys how you wanna handle that. If you, however, if you guys wanna just do it in old business, new business, or something
Yeah.
like that, it's gonna be up to you guys.
Yeah, we would have to post another.
That's what I'm saying, if
Yeah,
you,
so
depends
I-
on what
You
you wanna
just
do.
have it, you can have the discussion during legislation.
Just do it.
if you
Yeah.
wanna do it.
Perfect.
That's the right time.
Okay, and then planning and zoning officer, the report is in there. If anybody has any questions, again, feel free to email him. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
No.
Do you have a question?
No, I said we're saying no question
Okay.
from me.
Okay, next we have planning and zoning, Council President Wolf.
Planning and zoning, I actually was unavailable for the last planning and zoning meeting as I was out of town for my day job. So I'll defer to Eric for any update from that.
Thank you, sir. It was, we simply talked about, 2 items of detail. One concerning fences, and uniformity in the village as a whole, and trying to get the details down as far as code's concerned. And the other item was pools, specifically temporary pools, and how to handle those, going forward. So there'll be more discussions and eventually a recommendation to legislation at some point with all the code.
Cool.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
I remember doing temporary pool discussions before, is this about fencing and whatnot, is the big thing?
Correct, that's part of it, and
Okay.
how some other municipalities have chosen to handle it, and how we'll, you know, since we're in the middle of a large rewrite, these are smaller details but important discussion points, so we spent a meeting on those 2 items, because they're a little more meat on them.
Yeah, awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, NPCA,
Their last meeting was last night. They are talking about a lot of their upcoming, events, and I'll get into that. We were revising, we were talking about, again, the swag. We've been talking with legal, we've been talking with our fiscal officer about how that, you know, how does the village accept money, this and that. So we're just, I know that Jesse replied today with some stuff, so they're just seeing if it's something that they wanna do moving forward. So I don't have any updates, but I will by the next time I do my report. August 13th, their movie night. It's a silent movie, Charlie Chaplin movie. Saturday 17th, Northland Community Festival. You know, we wanna support Elevate Northland. They're really big in our village, so, you know, if we can, support them even better. September 18th, the block party garage sales are September 24th and 25th. OSU tailgating party. Details are to come on that, they're just trying to figure stuff out. Aside from that, they're really trying to ramp up and decide how they're pushing their memberships, best way to do those drives, and revising some of their events that they have now, you know. A lot of things have went up in price. So they're looking at their details of, you know, do we need to raise the price on a few things? So again, a lot of time for revisions for everybody. So I'm sure they'll keep us updated on all that.
awesome. Does anybody have any questions? And movie night is
Yep,
actually.
we got a hand down there.
Keep going.
Oh,
Did you say that that was the community garage sales?
Yeah,
What date was that?
September 24th and 25th.
So it's 2 days?
yes.
Okay, I think it usually is, isn't it?
They
It's
just,
usually just
It's
one.
usually
Yeah.
1 day.
they've changed it, because we don't do one in the spring now, I believe, was
That's what
part of the
That's what I
law.
was
The last one
understanding.
wasn't 2 days?
Let me look, let me look on
Yes.
their website, just
I-
to clarify that.
I thought last year
Because
might have
I-
been 2 days, but that was the
I
first
thought
time.
it stood out a little bit.
I can never remember it being 2 days,
I
but
think it was 2 days
Yeah,
last
maybe
year,
not,
yeah.
this might be the first one that they.
have fun with the parking.
Yeah, good luck.
That, I can't imagine the nightmare of that, and I've probably been one of the people being like, I'm only gonna be here for 5 minutes,
That's what everybody says all the
I already
time.
see what I want, I just wanna get that.
Well, we
Every
put
single person.
signs out before,
Yes.
Yeah.
we'll do that.
Yeah, the no parking on this side.
And then,
It doesn't.
did you
But
mention?
then someone says, I'm only gonna be here for 5 minutes, I just want that rug, I can see
Right
it.
here in front
I
of the
can-
driveway that's not
Okay.
having a sale, so that I can go across the street.
Yeah,
Did you mention the block party?
Yeah,
Okay.
September
Uh,
18th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the
I
block
remember.
party.
let me just, yep, September 24th and September 25th, 9 to 3. So it is 2 days. Check it out.
And the block party, just have them reach out to me if we're shutting down streets or roads or any of that stuff.
They actually were talking about that.
Actually have them reach out to chief, no, I'm kidding, I'll do it.
They were talking about that, and then also for the children's Halloween party, they're gonna be reaching out to you just to shut it down for the parade.
Yes, which is what we did the last time.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what we did last time.
Yeah.
Okay, so, we'll reach out to Blendon once we get those dates and times and all that for the stuff. So, okay, we're good. Straight back to you.
The email alerts have went out, they're starting, we got a lot of our templates done, so we saved quite a bit of money with that, which is always a high five. So that's going well. We're just gonna kind of ramp that up as much as possible. We're doing weekend recaps, what happened in the village this last weekend, or, the month ahead. We wanna spotlight certain residents, we just wanna utilize that to the most we can. I know that we just did something with Police with Pancakes with our wonderful Minerva Park Police. Thank you so much, Chief, Dell, for that, and thank you for everybody that was involved. Sahara Columbus donated so many backpacks and sack lunches, and it was amazing to see the kids here and interacting with our officers in your nice little hat and all. It was awesome. It's really cool, and there was a couple people from Minerva, France, the head of the PTA, and came over and she's like, I just love this. So it's appreciated, and it's appreciated. Chatting the council, the next date we've decided on is September 29th. I asked my fellow council members what they would like to see as topics. I am gonna ask residents as well, however, I've not gotten a lot of feedback from the resident aspect. It was recommended that we kind of focus on some of the capital projects, how we plan to, spend this TIF money, buildings, lakes, perhaps the garage, and then also touch on the amphitheater. We have a lot of things happening in the amphitheater right now, so just like a 10 to 15 minute review, and then allow those residents to have that open Q&A like they did last time. So that's what we're gonna be doing. Social media wise, I really want to find a way to, when we pass a new ordinance, I know I didn't say that right, or something changes in the code or something like that, finding a way to not just say, hey, refer to the website, making sure that we put that up on the village website so something has changed, you know what I mean? A lot of people just ain't looking through, Just another way to keep our residents informed is all. Survey, I did email Eric this afternoon to get that. I agree, we should add a few things into that. And get started on that. That way we can get a basis of where our residents feel and a plethora of topics. So I'm all for that. And if anybody has anything to add or revise that, or if they need another copy of that last survey, please let me know and I will get that to you. That is all.
Okay, that was a lot.
No,
Okay,
sorry.
I'm tired now.
We're all tired, okay. Are we having the September 20, I feel like I've got questions for everything. Are we having the September 29th?
I knew that's where you were going.
Are we confirmed at Minerva France yet? Do you need us to?
No, Barb is supposed to be reaching out to them.
Because we are already confirmed, I'm gonna announce this again in a minute. All of our meetings and work sessions are going to be held at Minerva France, starting probably mid-September.
Awesome.
Wow,
instead
So,
of here,
just so you guys are aware.
cool.
I'm just gonna bash myself on here, totally forgot about planning and zoning, so now I have to reach out and see if those dates are available
We'll
as
just
well.
add that one.
Is there a
Exactly.
reason we're moving from here,
Because
or?
we're gonna
Unless
start
you want us to
construction.
be in a construction zone,
Okay, so we're hoping we'll be,
Our
we're
hats
hoping
and
we
all.
won't be able to do this, huh?
say that again?
We're hoping we won't be able to do this, huh? We're hoping we won't be able to be here, cause
We're
construction
hoping that we
started.
won't be here, but again, you know, all of that could change as well, but we
Okay.
are, regardless, we're pre-planning, we're
Gotcha,
pre-planning
we're
to.
planning for this to be
To be
heavy
correct.
equipment and not wanna
So,
have meetings in it.
well, we can't just make the decisions the day before, so,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
we're trying to
'cause
be
we
a
need
little.
to,
We need a little plan.
is Westerville charging us anything to use
No,
their space?
Not that I'm aware of at this point in time, that has not been brought to anybody's attention, so I'm gonna go with no.
And fun fact that I learned last night, if our insurance could, it has to be in your insurance.
Yes.
If it's anything like the MBCA, it's listed as Westerville City Schools, so we don't need to change anything.
Okay,
So that's a fun little tidbit.
perfect.
Okay,
So I will be asking for the planning and zoning meetings to be there as well. Because regardless of where we go, we're gonna assume that this is still gonna be the best bet for them.
shouldn't planning and
For all of
zoning
us.
have to meet down at the amphitheater to keep them motivated and wanting to get it
Exactly.
finished?
Well, and that's what I was gonna say about the September 29th
Tweak
date,
all
is if
that
it was
stuff.
nice, we could just
Oh,
go outside.
shoot.
So, I mean,
I could meet there, that'd be nice, I'd bring
I
that.
would too.
okay, so I'll repeat all that again later or next week or whatever, but that's the plan moving forward, just so you guys know. We're planning on keeping our meetings local enough for all of the residents, so, because we have so many here. We don't want you to drive far. Next, we have Council President Wolf for Finance.
Finance Committee has not had a meeting since our last report. As we heard this evening, our next meeting will be probably sometime mid-September, where we will begin to work on the 2023 budget.
Perfect. And then just email us all and let us
Yep.
know. That works.
When we
And
get
I
it
will just
scheduled,
say,
we'll let you know.
they have been busy. They have been busy doing quite a few things, and so they're
Good
in
for
here
them.
and they're busy, so that's a good thing. Streets is councilperson costs. We already heard from Mike. Again, I'm hoping that I can get with her and do something with the 17th date to make that an actual streets meeting to get a couple things done. So you guys have received the leaf bids. You guys will receive the information for flow line. Again, we just got it today, so I will make sure you guys see that, but hopefully we will have the legislation in front of you to move forward on those two projects. But I don't wanna do it until I have the blessing from the streets committee. I don't wanna step on toes.
We can probably take a minute and a half to review the two bids.
That's entirely
Now.
up to you guys.
Do we have an appetite? I mean, there's two bids.
I don't, I mean, we're cucking along, I think we can do two bids,
I think
they're
we'll-
pretty,
yeah.
I saw that they were pretty close, I think
Yeah.
it comes down to, what do we know about these companies?
Yeah.
I'll speak to that while he's pulling it up.
Yeah.
We have used both companies in the past. One is, let me rephrase that. It's the family's company, so it's a different
It's the
name.
son
It's
who's running
essentially
it.
the same, and maybe I shouldn't say that it is, but I believe it is the same company, different owner. Son is now
Renamed, son-in-law.
son-in-law is now doing it. The other one is Groundmaster, that is the company that we use quite a bit for cutting our trees. They're the ones that did it last year. And that's that.
So number one was the son-in-law of the guy we've used previously, but not last year. They came in at 28 grand, paid over 3 installments at the end of each month over the term of the contract. The other one, Groundmaster, who
Okay,
we
wait.
used, yeah.
On this one, is there a specific date that they wanna do it, or does it say anything
let's
about
see.
anything like?
One of them
when?
said on
proposed-
1 day a week and they're open
Yeah, we
to,
proposed 28 to be paid, made in da-da-da. No, this does not have,
Okay.
so I'll read the whole thing. This is a proposition for the curbside leaf removal contract for Minerva Park for the year 2022. The contract will begin October 16th, conclude December 16th. We have the equipment necessary to complete the work efficiently. We'll be operating a box dump truck with a commercial grade leaf vacuum machine. Workers will wear neon safety vests and perform duties with utmost care to the homeowner's property and to the village of Minerva Park. And the rest is money and insurance information. I know the layout and mapping very well, and we have contracts with very happy customers who live in Minerva Park as well. And Groundmasters, who did it last year, the same time frame.
but they say Wednesday or another day preferred by the village.
Yeah, so theirs is specifically, every Wednesday or another day preferred by the village, weather permitting. And in the event of inclement weather, the leaf pickup and disposal will be done the following day, again, weather permitting. And then another cleanup round at the end, and they came in at 31,500, so 3,500 more. I don't see a whole lot of difference between them. I think they are both known commodities. I would suggest we move on the less expensive of the two. Does anybody have strong opinion one way or the other?
I don't necessarily see enough reason not to just go with the cheaper one.
The cheaper one is, I don't know, maybe you said it and I just missed it. Is there something in there like the other one where pickup day is on a
No,
specific?
they're not giving us a
I would like
guaranteed
that
put.
added. I would like that added. I mean, I don't see why that would be a big deal.
So-
Again, because that was an issue prior with residents that we've had.
So
You go out every day.
So the upside is that they, in the past, because we've used that company before, and in the past, on a nice day, they'll come out. So instead of, oh, it's raining this Wednesday, it's raining this Thursday, now we're gonna wait until the next Wednesday when it rains, and it rains the next Thursday, and so it might be 3 weeks, right?
So we should add that in there.
So, I mean, I think we can ask, but I don't know that is how they want to work it. So I think we were looking on their face. If you feel strongly enough that a called day is that important,
I do.
then.
I do, with some of the issues that we've had, not that we've had a lot, but we have in the past, in the last few years we have. So if.
Well,
and if-
well, hold on. So we need to make sure that we're apples and oranges here, because we've only
Let's get them
had.
out. Let's get them out.
Yeah, because we've only had a service with a dedicated day once. So it's not an issue, so to say that we've had issues with a dedicated day over the past few years can't be accurate, because we've only had that as part of the contract once.
So let's just clarify that. And last year, we had one whole week, if not 2 weeks, where leaf was not picked up. And
Right.
prior to that, I remember the previous council having to ask for certain things like this. I think it's just keeping it safe. I don't think it's that big of a deal. If it
I
makes-
think the point being made
Maybe I'm not
though,
understanding.
the point being made is when you have a dedicated day, if that day gets washed out, then it gets pushed back a week. If you just have, we'll do it on what day we can come in, they're not a dedicated day, and they're not saying, well, we show up on Wednesdays, and Wednesday was raining, so we can't do it, we'll see you next week.
Right.
They say Wednesday was raining, Friday was nice, we haven't been out here yet this week, we have to get out on Friday.
But how does that give our residents time to plan accordingly?
That's
Well,
my
that's the
concern.
thing.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it's-
this is for our
So
residents, right?
it's a, right, so, but it's a, I would have to go back and find the best statistical model to model it out for you. But if you only have one day, right, then you have one bite at the apple for leaves to get picked up, right? If it could be the best day of 7, right, then they will come more often. We should expect more trips and have more leaves picked up more regularly.
In the past, have we ever had a leaf removal place that did this and did not have a specific day listed? And
Yes.
they came and picked up 5 days a week?
Not 5 days in a
Every
week.
Except for last year.
But
Yeah, every other
but
time
yeah,
except for
they
last
have
Was
come-
it? Was it
They
like
have
that?
come.
Yeah, last year was
they
the
have
only
come
time we had a
multiple
set
days.
day.
They have come multiple days in the past,
Ah,
Right.
okay.
and it's based on what they can do when they can do it, and the weather,
But
right?
can we have at least like the bare minimum that they have to at least come? I mean, that's protecting it, right?
I don't see any protection. I mean,
Because
we
if the
could-
weather's
we
bad, the
could-
weather's bad, and they
I
say we
would
can't
say
make it
that it's
Wednesday.
reasonable to say, yeah, if they're not picking up leaves, we're not paying them. That's why we only pay them once a month over the 3 months. But, I would say that maybe it's reasonable to say that they need to guarantee us service 1 day a week,
That's it.
whatever day it may be.
Yeah, I got
But
that.
on the other hand, if it rains all week, they can't run their machines, and now we've put them in a position where they're in breach of contract.
And my question would be, how are you alerting residents to know? Is it just have it out there and if you see them come?
Yeah,
There's
I don't
residents
expect, I don't
work
expect
during the day.
anybody to rake their leaves based on this schedule. I expect people to rake their leaves on their schedule, and they will get picked up when they get picked up.
I don't think that a lot of people do.
I think that's how it's
But maybe I'm
been,
mistaken.
that's how it's been
It's happened before.
every year except last year. And largely, it is, I can tell you it's always been better than
I can
bagging,
see both, I do, I can see both.
right?
Oh,
It's-
that's a fact.
It's always been better than bagging them, and last year, while I had no issue with the service, right, I think that my preference is the other way around, to have the service come when it is when the weather is preferential and it works.
Cause most people are just gonna rake on a weekend and
Yeah,
then
So-
when it comes, it comes.
To-
'Cause
to-
you know, Tuesday night after work, you're not gonna wanna go out there and rake leaves just because tomorrow's Wednesday. You're gonna do it on Sunday and know that you have leaves sitting out there till Wednesday.
Right.
So in the past, like the easy answers are, I will say this, I had residents that loved it on the Wednesday pickup and I had residents that hated it. And I was actually trying to pull up a couple emails just to read a couple of them just so you, cause nobody's wrong. You have 2,000 residents-ish, and maybe I should start getting the real number. I will tell you, some hated the Wednesday pickup and some absolutely loved it. It's like our trash, we put it out, we know it's getting picked up.
Right.
I will say in the past, you know, again, this is the son, or I won't speak for this particular company, but
Right.
yes, there were times in which he would come through multiple times in 1 week. But there were also times his truck broke down and there would be 7 to 10 days. I mean, but that, in my opinion, that could be the case with any company, that if your truck breaks, they don't have 5 trucks. just
I
like
seem
that.
to recall we used the other one last year because we weren't sure of the new one. We wanted to give a chance and because the one we used last year came in with the lower bid.
Yeah.
This year they came in with the higher bid.
yeah. And in the
I don't
end-
think you can go wrong in either direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you have any, I don't know, back in the napkin math from last year, emails you got about was the village more in favor of one day, less in favor of one day?
No, I would say, and honestly, there's Facebook posts, I mean, just like
Yeah,
usual, there
it's-
was a couple.
Well, we can't use that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That data is not accessible.
Yeah, I mean,
It's certainly not
people like it, people
scientific.
don't, yeah.
But yeah, so I would again put forward that we move ahead with Buckeye Lawn Barbers.
Okay, well, we're gonna have legislation here shortly, I don't know if you want to do anything with that, or just
So
announce
are,
that?
everybody's good with amending it for the second reading to include Buckeye Lawn Barbers not to exceed 28,000, I believe was their number, 28,000, so.
Would there be any way to add a, a clause, to, I don't know, not to put in a breach of contract, but is there any legal phrasing to encourage a minimum or a expectation of once a week?
So not tonight,
Okay,
right,
yeah.
because that's a negotiation with the vendor, right? Some would say that there is an ethical concern with then turning around and engaging in additional negotiations after a bid process, right? Because we basically put out a call saying, give us your best offer, we'll take it or leave it. And then to turn around and say, we mostly like your offer, can you sweeten a little, there could be ethical concerns in
I
that.
see what you're saying.
You did it last year.
Purple
Huh?
Same thing. You negotiated a contract.
And
out.
people had concerns with it, right? So I am merely stating that as a potential concern.
Yeah, I don't wanna go diving in any kind of
Yeah.
ethical.
Yeah, so I think what we have in front of us are two clear and concise offers. The way maybe we could boil it down is that one company feels it's worth $3,500 more to have a called day, and the other one, because it allows them more freedom in their schedule, it's potentially less expensive. Right? And I am suggesting we move forward with the less expensive option. Not hearing great
Well,
pushback.
and during legislation, when I read it, I'll move to amend, and if anyone doesn't wanna amend, they can debate then and vote it down. So, that is the process, we can move on.
Streets has streeted.
Okay, we're done, we're
Street
moving on.
strut.
Okay, oh goodness. Alright, let's go to community, councilperson camera,
Why'd you say that?
cause it's the pool.
Yeah, do you want me to bring that up
I
now?
love, all of it, yeah,
All of it.
all of it, bring it, yeah. What do you got?
Splish splash.
So, I have nothing really new since the other
Okay.
day, however, we have been asked by some residents if we could potentially have adult time at the pool during the day. Since starting Monday, we only have the pool open from 4 to 8.
and I reached out to Jesse, and did get Jesse's response back, and he said absolutely not without a lifeguard.
Okay.
So, just again, we wanted to put that on for public record because we've had numerous people.
So there
reach
were
out.
people saying, can we just have adults and have a no lifeguard on duty sign?
Sign a waiver.
And
Sign a
we're
waiver.
adults and we can go?
Yes, sign a
Okay.
waiver, sign something like that. But, you know, it just becomes more of a concern with, you know, not having a lifeguard there, so.
Liability.
Yeah, just a liability, so, the
And-
answer is no at this point in time, unless we can find a lifeguard that wants to lifeguard during those hours. That is definitely gonna be a big discussion, I think, for next year, what we could do to potentially make some things like that happen, pre-planning. It's a question that I have been asked is this my third year? Yeah, I've been asked every single year, the exact same question, and
And even if you didn't have, I mean, you'd still have to have staff there, cause you can't just be like, oh, you're adults, we trust you to just
Right.
Right.
walk into this unsupervised pool
Or that you're
and
paid.
do whatever you
Right.
want.
Or if you haven't paid, I mean, then we would still need to collect money and do all of
Yeah.
that. So there is some logistics to it. I think it's a great conversation to have, add it to your list of pool 2023
Yep.
and see how we can potentially make something like that happen. We've even talked about an end of year pass that is in, you know, an adult pass that is outside of, because
Right,
we've talked about a lot of things. We'll
Okay.
see.
yep,
It'll be fun to
Interesting.
do.
okay, alright, that was all I have.
Yeah.
What else do I have?
I don't know. I have no idea. Okay, does anybody have any questions for councilperson Cameron?
No, but great job this year.
Yeah.
You and James have worked extremely hard. The concessions has went amazing, the doors look great,
Thank you.
just a good job.
Yeah, I've enjoyed the pool this year. Are we doing,
Oh, yeah, Sunday, what is that, the 4th?
Sunday the 4th?
The 4th, we will be doing only hot dogs at the pool that day. We do have some hot dogs
I take
left
that, that's
over.
September 4th,
Yeah,
right?
September 4th,
Obviously.
last Friday, or last Sunday of the pool
We're gonna do noon to
season.
3, noon to 2, noon to 4?
We've done one,
Oh, yeah.
I'd say 1 to 3.
Oh, yeah,
Let's
okay.
just do 1 to 3.
1 to
Keep
3
it
p.m.
simple.
We will put some ads out
Supplies run out.
on there.
Yes,
Yeah.
until supplies run out.
And that's why we're only doing hot dogs.
Yes.
so-
As we are talking about the pool, I'm gonna skip councilperson Shrestha and go to councilperson Wolf. When is the last wine and cheese?
Oh, August 20th.
August 20th. I knew you would know. I just skipped there because I knew Danny was making the snack, so I know he would know.
Have in my
Sip and
report,
dip.
so you're
Yeah.
somewhere around.
Sip and dip.
Yep.
Be there or don't.
That's what I did.
Let's move on, okay, you and I may be absent that week. Okay, let's move to safety, councilperson McNamara.
Hello, everyone. Safety's not met since our last meeting, but I would like to get a meeting together. I have received a couple emails about different signage in the village and how it can improve, especially as it refers to the area around school. I was thinking that it could kind of be bundled together with, you know, the address kind of project. I don't know if that'd be best in safety or best in maybe streets or best as a work session topic, but I think there's definitely, you know, enough to be discussed there that I'd like to get on the agenda as soon as possible.
What are you talking about, signage? What
So we
specifically?
received some emails about signage around, you know, the schools, like, you know, slow down,
Slow
children
down.
play, or, you know, maybe,
Signs we
Gotcha,
saw when we
yeah.
went down there.
yeah.
Okay.
And also, I don't know if you were party to this, but there was a observation that some of the addresses are pretty difficult to see in the, how you say, original or older parts of the village. And we have a couple of proposals about how to make the addresses more visible. I'd like to
Okay.
dive deeper into and
Okay.
discuss with the council at large. So I don't know if that'd be safety or streets or a work session topic, but I think those two bear, should be visited.
Yeah, while we're speaking about that, just something I noticed, because I live over by the new school, I did see a bus already going to exit, the car exit over there. There's not really clear signage that says this is exit only.
The school, yeah, the school, I know they're out there practicing, so it's the school's job to make sure the drivers follow the loop properly.
Yeah.
So I know we'll let them, make them aware when we get complaints like that.
Yeah, cause
So they can get on.
that's totally an exit on that,
Yeah,
you know, all the way down to Farview.
I know.
Yeah, so
How was that the first?
I left the neighborhood right before school, the buses came in, so
I mean, I didn't have any emails today,
Yeah.
so I mean, that's a win.
I did see Monica on the corner with her sign,
Perfect,
yeah.
perfect. Well, hopefully she can keep them all in line and then I don't get any emails, so,
Right.
awesome. Okay, either one, I mean, as far as streets or safety goes, I think it's something that I know it would help.
Safety that Councilperson Costas.
Yeah, I know we've got a couple things going on there and I know that it would help the police department
Of
out.
course, I'll
Quite a bit.
I fight everybody every time.
Okay, so get with chief on dates and things on that and then just kind of email everybody. Councilperson Brugger, legislation.
Okay,
Wait,
well.
hold on. Oh, no, your committee report, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We haven't had a meeting since our last thing. We have not a meeting scheduled yet, as I was looking at the thing, and I must have forgotten to email Barb. So, if we follow pattern, it would be the 25th
Yeah.
at 6 or 6:30. Is there any appetite to make it the 18th, since we have council that night anyway?
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, it doesn't.
What day would that be?
Oh, move it
This
instead of the
next
last
week.
week?
Yeah, move it to the 18th.
I think that might be better in case that meeting goes a little longer on the 25th. We'll already be, I mean.
I would love to have it 6:30 on the 18th. So far, and I know that 6:30 doesn't give us a lot of time, but so far, the only thing that has been brought to my attention by any members or that I have on the agenda so far is looking at leash things. For those curious, Minerva Park does have a leash code, but the code currently says the dog must be on a leash or under reasonable control of the owner. What we are looking at, and we'll be looking at that night and debating amongst ourselves, is should we change that to just nope, leash, period, there's no such thing as reasonable control. That's the debate. I'm not gonna even say whether side I weigh in on it on this one right now, but that is the debate we will be having at that meeting then.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
Okay, mayor's report is, okay, does anybody have any questions, or does anybody have anything for legislation additional that they wanna talk about on the 18th to make that meeting even longer?
Cause yeah, talk now before we schedule it at
Okay.
6:30 and have to be like, oh, it's
Yeah.
7 o'clock, we're done.
Perfect. Okay,
Or
so,
just send me an email if you have something else you wanna put in. As always, more than happy to drop anything on the agenda.
I will make sure that we advise Barb to adjust that to 6:30 on the 18th and remove it from the 25th.
Okay.
So we will get that done and we will get that updated and put in all different places. So if anybody could actually get their meeting scheduled like in the next 24 hours, that way she only has to do it once, because she has to go to the pool and all these different places every time we do it. So, if we could just get a couple of them done at the same time, great, if not, it is what it is. My mayor's report, I think I've talked enough, I think I've told you guys enough 5 times. So I'm gonna go with, we've been working on a lot with the building and we're super excited to get moving forward on a lot of the TIF projects, and the amphitheater's moving along, everything's been moving along, and I feel like I've been in here for 5 straight days, and it's actually exciting, so getting some of these things done. And Jason, I'm loving the pool this year, so there you go. Next, citizen comments.
Tony Benedetti, 2937 Berry Lane Court. Tonight I want to talk about the community building remodel. You know, it appears to me this is going to be another case of you guys passing something by emergency without ever even notifying the residents of the village that this is happening. You know, it just went out to bid, and I think it was, you know, a couple weeks, you know, gave the last bidder enough time to turn in another bid, you know, so, you know, what I would say about this building, and what you guys need to understand, is that council wasn't involved in the planning of this. The planning was, and how they came up with the floor plan was done by the chief, Eric, and the mayor and Leah. The only involvement council had was we brought up some concerns about bathrooms, and the big one was why the community room is on this side of the building and not over here, because that was a priority for the facilities committee and everyone else working on the building, was to have the community room on this side of the building. To this day, I have never heard the response about why it's going to cost more money, other than they said there's going to be more excavating. They didn't explain why it would cost more money to move the community room on this side of the building. Now, I would describe this, and as it's described now, that this is going to be a municipal building. It's going to be a great municipal building, police office. It is practically no improvement to the community room. If you look at it, it's about the same size that we have right here. Maybe a little bit bigger. But you go down to the police department. Now they've got 3 workstations for possibly maybe one police officer might be here needing a workstation, because the chief's got an office, the lieutenant's got an office. They've got a room for processing people that get arrested, which I don't think they need. When I brought this up to the chief, he said, well, we don't process anybody here because they get taken down to Franklin County. That's where they get processed. We would typically use this for when someone has a drunk driving charge and we're going to bring them back to the community building so someone can come pick them up instead of towing their car and taking them to jail. That was the only reason that the chief gave me for having a processing room. They added on storage onto for the police, for evidence room, but the basement isn't used for anything. The room that the police are working out of today, and have been for years, and has gotten along, have made it work for years, isn't being used for anything. The police have got 2 locker rooms, a men's and women's, with 15 lockers for the men, 5 for the women. That's 20 lockers for a police department that maybe has 9 or 10 officers, on staff. I don't anticipate that we are going to start spending a bunch of money and having 20 officers here. So the whole plan, the way I would describe it, is in a perfect world, it'd be nice to have all these facilities for the police department. But in this environment with this is already, 50% more than the original proposal. It was supposed to be a $2 million project, now it's a $3 million project. And also, one of the priorities of the facilities committee was to do a plan that kept this building open during the construction. Now, we've got to move out of here, and you guys don't even know exactly how you're going to accomplish that. Maybe we'll have our meetings at the school. Where are the police operating out of? Where are we putting everything? So, you guys need to slow down a minute. It's gone this long. It doesn't need to be passed by an emergency. So you can be tearing the building down by the end of the month. We could do there are other ways to go about accomplishing, improving this building without spending $3 million. And we don't even know how much it's going to cost to move us out, and then it goes on longer than expected, then there's more rent, so there's a lot of things that need to be discussed amongst this group of people, because you guys haven't had a discussion in any detail about this building at all. Because you guys really apparently don't want to take the time. I don't want to put, words or anything in anybody's mouth, but, the residents of this village that I've talked to, I would say half of them, and I'm not exaggerating, don't think we need to do anything here. They say, well, they're doing just fine. What do they need? And in reality, the only thing that we need here is to make the building ADA compliant, to have a couple more bathrooms or bigger bathrooms that are ADA compliant, and a place where the police officers, a locker room is
Thank
typically...
you very much, Mr. Benedetti.
God, I'm sick of this 5-minute crap.
Thank you for your comments. I'm not even gonna go. Anyway, so, let's move to legislation.
Okay. Let's start with ordinance 2022-19, an ordinance to amend the codified ordinances of the Village of Minerva Park to include section 618.19, cleanup of animal defecation. This is a third reading, we've talked about this before, this makes it a class, what is it, 4, the smallest class misdemeanor, to leave your dog waste on the ground more than 3 times in a 12-month session. It would go up to 1 step higher. I can't remember all the levels of misdemeanor. This is our third reading, I move for passage.
Second.
Seconded by Mr.
Cameron
Camera.
on the ball.
Oh, he's on it. All right,
Any debate?
anybody?
All right, go ahead, Madam Mayor.
Councilperson Tresta.
Yes.
Councilperson Camera.
Aye.
Council President Wolf.
Aye.
Councilperson Bruder.
Aye.
Councilperson McNamara.
All right.
Did you hear what happens?
4 ayes and a yes.
Okay, next we have ordinance that's written wrong. 2022-21, not 2022. An ordinance accepting a certain bid from Weaver Commercial Construction, Inc. for remodeling and construction of the Minerva Park Municipal Building and declaring an emergency. We are not waiving readings on this, however, so it is still just the first reading. It looks like the not to exceed amount is $3,153,000. And that is for the renovation and, boy, it's more than a renovation, it's an adding on of the existing community building. And that has been read. All right, resolution 2022 XX, and maybe we can get the XX out of there for next time, obviously we
Okay,
will.
why did you
Which
say
one is that?
XX?
Yeah, mine says 20,
Is that the leaf? Yeah,
Blue
mine,
leaf.
this says 2022-20.
yeah.
Oh, mine had XX on it. So let me amend that on my page. A resolution authorizing a contract with blank for lease pickup. I'm gonna first, make a motion to amend this to, in that first blank, put in Buckeye Lawn Barber, and also add that in the first blank of section 1, as they being our preferred company, and at section 2, at a cost is $28,000.
Yeah, I actually, I don't think we need an amendment. We don't need a motion to amend. We can just state that at this point because we are adding that to it for the second reading.
Third.
Is this the third?
No, second.
Yeah,
We're
so
doing
we've
it for the
added
second.
it for the second. It'll
Gotcha.
be there for the third. There's no need to make a motion.
All right, so I'm gonna add those, so now it reads a resolution authorizing a contract with Buckeye Lawn Barber for lease pickup, and as I just mentioned, the cost would be $28,000. That is our standard leaf pickup, they'll be here from mid-October to mid-December. Essentially, just like every year, this is a company that we have kind of worked in the past, although, as we mentioned earlier in our debate, it is actually owned by the son-in-law of the former owner, but we're hoping it's essentially run the same. Okay, moving on, resolution 2022-22. Still can't say it. A resolution authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer to enter into contract with Jacobs Engineering, CM2H Hill, for the 2022 Lake Master Plan proposal and declaring it an emergency. This is just a second reading. The cost of that is $75,000, or not to exceed $75,000, I should say, sorry. And that is to get a detailed engineer's report of what needs to done to the lake and various levels of if you just want them to be a little better, if you want them to actually support life, et cetera. Is that correct, Mike?
Yes.
And
That's
can you
gonna have to
clarify
be-
the resolution number for that one more
I
time?
apologize. Resolution number for that is 2022-22.
Because we all
No.
have 21.
I think,
I have 22.
All right, I'm just reading off the papers that were given me. So, but now that I look at
well,
the,
Well, you need it
now
off the
that I look
paper.
at the agenda, it is 2022-21.
No, but it's
but
probably
it's right
correct on the,
on the thing that you're reading.
so
Oh,
that's why
okay.
I wanted to make sure that the agenda is incorrect, not the.
Okay.
Agenda's incorrect.
Agenda's incorrect, and again, I
And
am
we'll do
right.
that third reading on the 18th, right, not the
Yeah.
25th? like
We
it
will be
says?
adjusting that,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, this one, woohoo, the fun one. I don't know, it's not a anything one. Resolution 2022, and I'm gonna say 23.
Yes, that's what we have.
Okay, good. I have XX on my calendar again. A resolution to amend the rules of council and calendar as was approved in resolution 2022-01 and declare an emergency with a request to waive the second two readings, or the second and third reading. And this would change our work sections that are normally Saturday mornings to Thursday evenings.
And also, the
And
September
also,
dates.
Yeah, it also amends the September dates.
oh, it amends the September dates that were already posted.
Yes.
For anyone listening, we just all decided we'd rather just apparently work every Thursday night of the week rather than have to get up at 7 o'clock on a Saturday.
There you go.
I'm gonna move to waive the second and third reading.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any debate? Go ahead.
Council President Wolf,
Aye.
Councilperson Tresta,
Aye.
Councilperson Campbell,
Aye.
Councilperson McNamara, Councilperson Berger.
Aye. I will now move passage as an emergency.
Second. Give it to Mr. Cameron. The right honorable.
Okay. Still no discussion? Okay.
No, I think we're ready.
Councilperson Berger,
Aye.
Councilperson McNamara,
Yes.
Councilperson Camera,
Aye.
Councilperson Tresta,
Aye.
Council President Wolf.
Aye.
At least you guys are making it fun tonight. I call it fun.
Another person with
Okay.
a sick sense of fun.
I have a sixth sense of fun, yeah, this is fun. Okay, that's all legislation? Do you have anything else? Okay. Old business, does anybody have anything they would like to talk about as
I
far
do.
as, go for it.
Just real quick, I know that we're doing the leash law legislation, this and that. However, I did speak with Denise at Hawthorne today. She would like if we advise our citizens to not have unleashed dogs in that backyard. There is students out there, and also it's soon going to be turned into a football field. So we need to put something out to advise them that there's to be no off-leash dogs at Hawthorne whatsoever.
They need to put out, maybe we should talk to the school district, we'll actually have a meeting tomorrow with school district members.
Yeah, I spoke with Denise, so.
We will need to put, they'll need to put signs to enforce it, because if they're doing it, we can't tell them not to on the private property of the school. They've got to be able to post signs, that would be
Right.
appropriate.
Okay, yeah.
Perfect.
So when you guys talk to them, if you can bring that
We will.
up, that'd be greatly
We're
appreciated.
signing, yes. Any more old business? I always think I have old business and then I forget. I didn't write it down, so I think I'm good. Anybody with any new business?
Hazel seems to have
Yeah,
something.
No, it's just been a long day.
That's what I feel like.
So for new business, I, as council president on behalf of the village, would like to extend a fine congratulations to our mayor on her recent nuptials.
Yes.
Congratulations, it was a lovely day.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, it was.
All right.
Oh, go ahead.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead.
No.
Are we still going over?
We're
Yeah,
new business,
yeah,
we're still in new
we're still-
business, you got new
Okay.
business?
Unless you wanted to toss
Nope.
on some more congratulations.
Because I know we're gonna, in our next session, continue the debate about the leash law. I was looking at some stuff today, and I noticed about, we have in that section about don't feed the geese. And, just wondering if we should put some signs up, around some of the other ponds that
Sure.
say that.
Yes.
And that's a violation of our code, because
Signs mean,
And
I know people that have done it,
And if
and I don't
anybody
like the
has
geese in
saw,
my yard.
if anybody saw the recent social media post, I think Conger posted about the goose with the wing that sticks to the side.
Oh, yeah.
That is called angel wing. That is most likely done because someone has fed her bread. So, and again, just like when I met with Scram about the geese situation not too long ago, he said that geese here, they were born here. I mean, they imprint, they stay here. So again, he's got it here somewhere. So again, I think that's an awesome idea.
I think it's just a good reminder.
We can get some of those signs ordered, that is not an issue whatsoever. So, I'll work with Barb on getting a few extra ones ordered and some poles and all that as well.
Thank you.
Old business, new business, I did reach out to Aqueduct, I am expecting some estimates for fountains, aerators, not all of it, but fountains and or aerators
For the,
And
the three small ones
yes.
that are just,
Yes, and just the treatment for 2023. So once we get the estimates back, you guys will have the options of, some fountains won't work because there's certain depth needs to be, you get the point.
Yeah.
So they will get me all the options, I will present them all to you guys, and you guys can decide if you wanna do anything in this one, or what, you get the
Yeah.
point. But we should have this in the next couple days. And that's all I have.
Move to adjourn.
second,
All in favor?
aye.
Get the heck out of here.